It's a tale old as time. You're building your first gaming PC and you don't know if you should buy an Nvidia graphics card or an AMD graphics card. Hello, my name's Nick, I'm the GPU enthusiast, and today we're going to be looking at one of the questions that people don't normally ask themselves when they're buying a graphics card for the first time. What is the driver software like? And we're going to be looking at Nvidia Geo Force Experience and AMD Adrenaline and comparing them both and kind of giving you a picture of what you're going to be dealing with on a day-to-day using these drivers and driver software. So stay tuned. I just want to say, guys, thank you for all the support on the last couple of videos. It means a lot to me. We got over 1,000 views on the RX 580 video, which I didn't think it would actually get that many views. And then we got over 2,000 views on making a PC for $400 video. I just want to say a quick thank you to all of you that have subscribed and leave a like or comment on those videos. And for this video, I want you guys to put down in the comment section below, what's your favorite CPU that you've ever used, or if it's the current CPU you're using, and why. Love to see your comments. Also, remember to leave a like and subscribe. I always forget to say that in the beginning of the video, so I'm going to add that in here. So today, guys, we're going to be pinning Nvidia Geo Force Experience versus AMD Adrenaline, and just kind of giving you a view of what you're going to be dealing with if you buy an AMD graphics card or an Nvidia graphics card. Now, I want to leave as a disclaimer that I've been using a Nvidia graphics card now for over 9 years. I originally had a 970, and then I had a 1070, and now I'm rocking a 4070. So I have a lot of experience using Geo Force Experience, and not as much with AMD Adrenaline. But I've done a lot of testing on this video with AMD Adrenaline, and all the prior experience with doing the RX 580 video, and some other AMD GPUs that I've come to inherit and test. Another thing to say is don't exclusively buy a graphics card for one of these softwares. You want to buy a graphics card based on its performance and its driver support. Are the drivers reliable, and is the performance reliable for what you need it to do? But it also helps that the software does what you want it to do, or has the capability to do things that you want it to do. Now, there's a lot of similarities between the two. They both have recording, on-screen recording abilities. They both are able to stream. There's many things that these softwares do that are similar, and other things that they don't do the same. Some are straightforward, some are not as straightforward, some are kind of aging, and one looks more modern. So we're going to get into all that in this video, so let's get into it.
We're in Nvidia Geo Force Experience, and as you guys can see here, we have a little prompt telling us that we've just started recording. It will also tell us when we stop recording in the right top corner. This is the home page of Nvidia Geo Force Experience, and it has like basically all the games you have downloaded on your computer in this nice little tile form. You can also change that to a Steam-like format with all the games on the side here. But you can basically scroll through them. You can play and launch the games from here. You can also choose to optimize the game settings for what you're playing. And Nvidia Geo Force Experience is supposed to, again I say air quotes, supposed to pick the most optimal settings for your graphics card and CPU combo. It doesn't always do that. That's why I don't typically run it with that. You can also click here to adjust if you want performance or quality. But again, I'd like to fine tweak my settings, so I don't really use this feature. There's not really much here. You can scan for more games or optimize all your games. You can also filter them. So the next page we're going to look at here is the drivers page. Now, this is probably a screen that everyone is familiar with if you've ever owned a Nvidia graphics card in like the last 10 years. This is where you go to download your new drivers, and it's pretty... Yeah, one thing here that you'll notice is in the driver page, you can't go back a version of drivers. So let's say the drivers you installed, for whatever reason, the game you're trying to play doesn't support it or is having issues with it, you cannot roll back your driver version through Nvidia GeForce Experience. You can do this through the Nvidia website, but there's really no way to do it here in GeForce Experience, and that would be actually a nice feature to have if we had several versions to pick from. You know, because sometimes we do have driver issues with certain versions with certain games you're playing. But yeah, that's the driver section. You have notifications up here, the open in-game overlay, which we'll get to very soon, and then you have the cog here, which is your settings. And basically the first general settings page is going to have all your major things. It's going to have your rig, so all of your components in your computer. It's going to basically here ask you if you want to enable experimental features. You have basically the features of the computer that tells you what you're ready for. Game and app optimization, game ready or game stream ready, in-game overlay. It's basically telling you what you're ready for. So like if you wanted to get into virtual reality or VR, these are all the requirements they want you to have. In-game overlay, you can choose to deactivate it or have it activated. Image scaling, and just a little things like that. Then you have your account settings, which is pretty basic. You have your games and apps, so basically this scans for all the games for that home page feature. Now for the in-game overlay. Now this is where most of your Nvidia Geo Force experience time is going to be spent, is here. You'll see that we have screenshots, photo mode, and game filters. So there's little things you can do here. You have instant replay. So instant replay is basically if you have it toggled on, you can set a hotkey for it and it will record the last 5 minutes of your gameplay. It's actually it's probably the only thing I've consistently used in Nvidia GeForce Experience is instant replay to record clips and stuff from different games. And the max frame rate you can set it to is 60 FPS. Then there's the recording, what we're doing right now. Again, same kind of settings. You can set the bit rate of it, all that jazz. You got broadcast. This is basically streaming to different platforms. You can I believe you can up the frame rate in here to 60. And you can also choose a resolution. And then there's your performance. So this is the only hardware monitoring that Nvidia GeForce Experience has, is this little stupid window that no one ever uses, in my opinion. It gives you GPU clock, GPU temps, GPU voltage, utilization for your GPU, the GPU power draw, your fan speed, and your memory clock. This is all GPU information. Then you only get your CPU utilization and FPS, which the only way to access this is through this monitor here. You can turn on the overlay and put it as an overlay, but again, you're not getting anything else but your GPU utilization. There's nothing else here. So it's not very reliable in my opinion. It's MSI Afterburner is a lot better, or any other app for that matter. You can reset it, enable automatic tuning. So this is where like you can tune your GPU, and you can adjust certain things here, like voltage for your GPU, power maximum, temperature target, and fan speed. Again, not a lot you can do here as far as overclocking or just undervolting and stuff like that. It's very minimalistic. Again, why I said initially that this was very outdated, because there's not a whole lot you can do here in the performance tab. Now, if we go back into the overlay, there's your gallery. Basically all your screenshots and stuff that you've taken are going to be there. And then microphone settings, you got your camera, and then basically more additional settings that you could set. But again, nothing too crazy here. And then there's show reflex flash indicator. But basically this is it. This is all you get with the Nvidia GeForce Experience. It's not a lot going on. I wish it was better. It's not. It has your basic features, so you can get along with recording or streaming with it, or with instant replay. But other than that, there's not much more you can do other than download drivers on it. So we're gonna move on to AMD now.
So now looking at Nvidia Geo Force Experience, what are my thoughts? Well, like I said, I've been using it for years, and I never really looked into AMD Adrenaline, but making this video, and what you'll now see, is Nvidia Geo Force Experience is really outdated. There's so many features that it just doesn't have. It's very simple, and it's got very limited features, and it works, but there's a lot left on the table where there could be, a lot of hardware monitoring features that the software could have, and it just doesn't. There's a lot of things that just you don't want and you're never going to use in Nvidia Geo Force experience, and you're basically just going to use it to download and update your drivers. So I don't know if they plan on updating GeForce experience anytime soon or making a whole new driver software. I haven't heard anything about that, but it definitely is outdated and needs an overhaul of some sort. So we're gonna look at AMD Adrenaline now, and like I said before, this one really impressed me. There's a lot of just little things that it does right, and some things that I would like it to do, but it's not a make or break for me. Maybe it's just that I'm not used to it, but it definitely is very modern looking and very cool looking. So let's get into that.
And now we're looking at AMD Adrenaline. And as you can see, just like Nvidia GeForce Experience, we had the prompt telling us that we started recording. And on the home page here, it also tells us that we're recording down here and gives us our microphone level, so you can adjust all that. And you can change what screen it's recording. You have some screenshot settings, some instant replay, and instant GIF setting, which is pretty cool. So looking at the home page, we have some presets here for the graphics card of how you want it to run. So there's enabling it optimized to improve latency or performance for gaming, quality and performance, and then eco for best power efficiency, which is pretty cool. And we'll get into more depth of that as we go through it. There's some games here also that you've played, which is really cool about AMD Adrenaline, is it tells you the total amount of time you've played in a video game and the average frame rate that you've played in a video game. So for Apex here on this PC, you can see that we did about 101 frames average, which is pretty nice. And then also here we have the driver and software we're running currently, and AMD Assist. So let's move on to the gaming tab. And if you can see here on the gaming tab, this is similar to the home page in NVIDIA GeForce Experience, where you have all the tiles of what games you have installed on your computer. And you can tell here that it gives us average frame rate, like it did in the home page, and time played, like I said. And it's really cool because, I mean, I think for games that are non-Steam games, it's harder to tell your time played. And if you have AMD Adrenaline, it's going to show you the time played in all these games and the average frame rate you're getting, which is really cool. If you click on one of these games like Apex Legends, you'll see that there's a bunch of settings that you can adjust here, which is pretty cool. Again, I like to nitpick and tweak all my settings accordingly, but if you're someone that doesn't want to nitpick on all their settings, this is a really good way to manage them all. Which is really cool about AMD Adrenaline is that you can tune your game performance for your graphics card. So basically, you could set your graphics card to overclock, undervolt. You can overclock the VRAM, or you could set a custom overclock where you can actually, again, nitpick the settings you want on your GPU on your overclock for specific games, and it will only run this overclock for the game you're playing when you launch it, which is really neat. We have some additional settings here. So going back to the gaming tab, also like GeForce Experience, you can have a list format. It looks a little different, but that's basically it. You can refresh and scan for more games. And then just basic things like the global graphics preset and advisors. So advisors here is basically gives you recommendations on the different settings you're running on. So instead of NVIDIA GeForce Experience just telling you, hey, run it at this, preset and we'll optimize the game for you, AMD Adrenaline actually gives you recommendations to hopefully make your game run better. So, which is pretty cool. And if we move on to recording and streaming, this is going to be all your recording and streaming settings tab. So right now, obviously, we're recording, so this shows up here. And then you have your live stream window where you can set up your live stream and stuff like that to either Twitch or YouTube or Facebook. And then you can also customize where you want your webcam and stuff like that. Media is just the stuff you've recorded. And then you have additional settings where you can set up all your links to all those streaming platforms and a bunch of the settings. What's really cool about it is you can set the recording FPS to 120 frames per second with AMD Adrenaline. You're capped at 60 with NVIDIA GeForce Experience. trying to just zoom by here. One thing I want to emphasize here, as you can tell right now, is the hardware monitoring on AMD Adrenaline is so much better than Nvidia Geo Force Experience, like by far. You get CPU utilization, CPU temperatures. It also gives you a prompt to go to launch to Ryzen Master if you have a Ryzen CPU. You have your utilization of your your RAM. You also have utilization, total board power, GPU temps of your graphics card, and then you also have the GPU memory here. So like it's a lot more. There's a lot more information here than you would get from Nvidia GeForce Experience, and you can pull this up by, I believe it's Shift E or Control, or it's Alt E or something, to pull up the overlay. And basically this is the overlay. It just pops up in games. It's just a little bit more transparent, but basically you'll be able to see all this. So if you're not someone like me that's running MSI Afterburner all the time, checking your settings and stuff and customizing it, this is really neat to have set up so you can just monitor things on the fly if something's going on. There's tuning. So this is more of the, we already saw, the overclocking. So you can set it to like some overclocking presets, or you can set it to a custom mode where you can adjust all your values and some additional things. And then moving on, and this is the settings tab. So the settings tab is similar to the driver tab of Nvidia GeForce Experience, where basically here you have your drivers. And I will say that they're just like Nvidia GeForce Experience, you cannot roll back the version from the application. You have to go to AMD's website, which again I wish that you would be able.
What are my final thoughts on AMD Adrenaline? I like it a lot. I wish we had something like it on the Nvidia side. We don't. Nvidia GeForce Experience is just extremely outdated still and doesn't have a lot of these features. And it's nice to have things like hardware monitoring and being just simply able to see the average frame rate of what you're getting in a video game without having to download a third-party software. Having the ability to see that as someone that just plays games and isn't testing software or chips or GPUs like I am is nice to have, because not everyone is looking at that, I feel like, 24/7. So having those features in place in your driver software is amazing. You don't have to go anywhere else for it. You're able to record seamlessly, and like we said before, it doesn't ever, in my use case, I haven't had any problems recording with AMD Adrenaline. It doesn't freeze up. I don't ever have to restart the computer because the software just doesn't want to work. Where with Nvidia GeForce Experience, we sometimes have issues where you have to restart your computer because for whatever reason, every time you hit Alt F9, it just doesn't want to record. So it's nice that we have these things and they work consistently. Again, I don't use AMD every day, so maybe there is some times where it doesn't work, but in the cases that I've used it, I haven't had any problems with it. So my final thoughts are that AMD wins. They have a better driver software than Nvidia. GeForce Experience is just way too outdated. It needs to be updated, and it just isn't right now. Again, I can make this video right now and upload it, and then tomorrow they'll update GeForce Experience. It's going to have all these features and then some. But for the time being, AMD wins this. Does it make me personally want to switch to AMD? No, not at the moment, but I'm definitely going to consider it next time I upgrade because those features are just nice to have in my opinion. So guys, I just want to say thank you for watching this little video. Sorry for the slow upload. It's been about a week and a half since the last video. I just haven't had a whole lot of time to upload. But I just want to thank everyone that watches this video and watches it all the way through. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate y'all that watched. Again, thank you to my friend Logan, my girlfriend Felicia, and my family downstairs. They're for supporting me in this. They're very helpful. This is the first video that I edited with DaVinci Resolve, so let me know how I did. Hopefully it's not too bad. But again, thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a great day.